All right, we're almost to the weekend. It is the Thursday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. I've got a cough drop in this evening. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up on the mic. I'm fighting a cold here. It could be worse. Some people have had pneumonia and strep throat and all sorts of fun stuff around work and some places I've been lately. So just a standard issue cold. And I've had worse colds, so I will try not to complain too much. All right, as we go into the weekend, lots of interesting things to talk about. And today, actually, not locally, but out across parts of the Mid-Atlantic, interesting little story here. An earthquake, and actually a pretty sizable earthquake occurred just east of Dover, Delaware, this afternoon. Now, by East Coast standards, this is pretty impressive. 4.1 magnitude earthquake, and the shaking was felt in places as far north as southern New England, eastern PA, and then down towards D.C. and Baltimore as well. No shaking around here. No earthquakes around here today. What we had was rain and mild temperatures. Let's wrap up the month of view here. We're in the waning hours of November. We hit 58 at the airport before it started raining today. It definitely overachieved today, and we finished the month with 4 consecutive warmer than average days, and actually 6 of the last 7 days have been warmer than average, and that is kind of negated some of the cold anomalies we had during the middle of the month. That long stretch of cold weather we had from the 7th through the 17th has been negated somewhat by the late month warmth. And so as a whole, 0.6 degrees below average, a little cooler than average in the month of November. Now, of course, it was also a wet month, especially earlier on this month. We did have a day on the 18th where at the airport we picked up over 2 inches of rain. Some places had closer to 3 inches. And that certainly has skewed the numbers for the month. And at the airport, we finished at 5.43 inches, the third wettest November on record in Youngstown. Now, we didn't add much to those totals today. Rainfall amounts pretty modest as expected. 0.11 in Boardman, downtown 0.15, closer to a quarter of an inch up towards Mercer and towards the I-80 corridor in Mercer County and parts of Trumbull County as well, and generally a 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch as you got down into Columbiana County earlier on today. This is the radar loop over the last 6 hours from roughly 1:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Most of this was pretty light, but occasionally got a little bit heavier, and now it is gone. This is a front that's crossing the area, and it's going to put an end to the unseasonable warmth we've had over the last couple of days. Tomorrow will be more typical of the season. You have to look carefully, but in the infrared satellite this evening, a band of clouds is still lingering across parts of the region. Depending on where you are tonight, you may see a mostly clear sky. Later on tonight, some places, especially east of Youngstown, might hold on to the clouds for a good chunk of the night tonight. All right, tomorrow is December 1st, believe it or not. It is the start of meteorological winter. December, January, and February. Our average high on the first day of December is 42. We see our highs and overall temperatures bottoming out, climatologically speaking, of course, during the middle of January, with the average high bottoming out at 32. By the end of February, we'll have recovered to about where we are now, about 40 degrees. Pretty symmetrical 3-month period here as far as average highs go across our region. And on the first day of December, tomorrow, about 9 hours and 26 minutes worth of daylight. So we're looking for a high of 45 tomorrow, just a few degrees above the average, but certainly closer to the average. And notice I have the 2017 rankings on here through the first 11 months of the year. This has been the 10th wettest year and the 8th warmest year on record in Youngstown. So it's been a year with some extremes. All right, tomorrow, nothing extreme about our weather. As high pressure builds in from the west, we'll be in pretty good shape. A mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow. I think there'll be some high clouds around Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon should be brighter, and it should be a fairly sunny day coming up on Sunday. A pretty tranquil weekend overall on the way. Let's talk about next week some, and I've got the GFS model on here. A cold front's going to come our way. There's some timing differences between the GFS and the European model, as is pretty typical 4 or 5 days out. The GFS is a little slower today than the European. This is the slower ID I'm showing you here on Tuesday morning. Most of the rain's not even here yet. And if the GFS were to be believed, the frontal passage wouldn't even be until later in the afternoon into the evening. That would allow temperatures to warm way up. But the European model is quite a bit faster, so my forecast is kind of in between right now. Kind of actually by the European a little more than this really slow GFS. Bottom line for your plans for Tuesday, well, could rain at just about any time. If the faster ideas on the European model are correct, it'd be mostly in the morning. Temperatures might actually even fall in the afternoon on Tuesday. And then in the wake of the front, here comes the cold air. Now, this is going to come in waves. We've been talking about this for days, that yes, the pattern is about to change. We're going to see winter certainly coming in with a vengeance as we go deeper into December. And the first wave is behind this front on Wednesday. Now, we could see some snow showers in the wake of the front on Wednesday. Doubt it's much of a big deal at this point. And then we'll keep a close eye on the wind direction as we go through the latter half of next week into the following weekend. That will be dependent, or that will dictate, I should say, who's going to get lake effect snow and who will not. My suspicion is this could be a pretty big lake effect snow event for western New York and parts of Michigan. Maybe parts of northwest PA as well. This doesn't look like a real favorable pattern late next week into the weekend, right now anyway, for a big lake effect event in northeast Ohio. The wind might be a little too west-southwest. GFS model then has a clipper with some general snow next weekend. All right, let's start talking about the longer range. It's Thursday evening, so we get a fresh update from the European weekly modeling here, broken down in 7-day chunks. So this will take us all the way through December and even into the first week of January. Cold, cold, cold is the theme here. Here's days 7 to 14, 11 to 18, 14 to 21, 18 to 25. This takes us up into the week before Christmas. You get the idea here, cold. That is the theme. Warm in the west, cold in the east. And this has some credibility. Certainly it's supported by some of the other modeling. So when we look at the next month as a whole, here's what the European has. Yeah, a sea of blue from the Great Lakes down through parts of the Carolinas, the southeast, up into New England as well. Cold, but the model is not advertising a very stormy pattern. Look at the precipitation anomalies, or difference from average, showing a lot of dry weather. West Coast and in parts of the Midwest and over towards our neck of the woods as well. So I do think December is going to be a pretty cold month, probably our coldest December since 2010. Will it be snowy? I think lake effect could be an issue, but big, what we call synoptic storms, general snowfalls, not lake effect, may not see that many of those if some modeling is to be believed here. A lot of the stormy weather may be suppressed because of how intense the cold air masses are coming out of Canada. It shuns the moisture to our south. That's the way it kind of looks right now. Don't forget tomorrow evening, I'm going to have a full update on the winter forecast, which has now been out for a month. And I said when I put it out, on December 1st, we should have a much better idea as to how the atmosphere is showing its hand, what's going on in the oceans, and I've got some updates for you with that tomorrow on this video. And I'll probably do a blog post as well if you're more of a reader, so check that out Friday evening. All right, I made it through the video without hacking. It's kind of a challenge. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. We have football tonight, so we'll be on late. Hope you'll stay up with us and check out my updated forecast tonight on 21 News.